So my experience in AP Seminar was both rigorous and enriching because AP Seminar requires a lot of time for research, thinking, or drafting. It was really tiring for me as well, and sometimes I wanted to quit. But at the end, doing all those presentations and going through all of the year's work, I feel really enriched and blessed by this opportunity because through AP Seminar, I not only honed my research skills, but also developed the right approach to research subjects and also present my findings. So it was a really valuable experience for me. For my team project, I was working on a team with Caleb, Amira, and Caroline. Our project was on to what extent has the US been affected by the influx of asylum seekers in the last 10 years. I focused on the legal perspective, and from a legal perspective, I found that the current influx of asylum applications has caused court backlog and systematic overload. So currently there were 2.4 million pending cases, and this means that 2.4 million are still waiting on their courts and they're waiting on their status for asylum seeking. And also combining with some economic perspectives and some other cultural perspectives, we found that the influx of asylum applicants can cause the society to use more public funding because there are more people to take care of. But then to look in the future, those refugees and asylum seekers can turn into potential workers. So in the long term, it's not a significant threat. So our overall conclusion and solution was that while the influx of asylum seekers are not like a direct threat, we still need like systematic refinements because currently there's a severe court backlog. So we need some higher standards for credible fair claims, better funding in the judicial system, and have also increased border personnel so the nation still remains capable of receiving those asylum applicants. For our presentation, because it was online, we obviously had some technical difficulties. It wasn't as smooth as it would have been if we were in person. However, I think we overcame those difficulties very well. We presented our findings without any significant obstacles. And at the end, we really earned a great score. So I'm proud of my team and the work we have put in. For my individual essay was about to what extent has feminism influenced the young generation in South Korea. So I linked this to two of the sources provided by College Board. One of them was Ferreira et al., which it talked about public space. It talked about how public spaces like coffee shops can serve as a place for community building. And I linked that because of the current hostility and animosity created by feminism in South Korea, people cannot really take advantage of it and rather turn those physical spaces into a place of hostility. I've also discussed how the online environment where men and women start to hate each other created an increasing divide within the Korean society. And at last, I connected it with the Surgeon General's advisory, which talked about how loneliness and social isolation can lead to severe health outcomes. Because there is a significant divide between women and men in South Korea, there's decreased marriage rate. And when there's decreased marriage rate, it means that we are having less family members and less friends. And the Surgeon General mentioned that with less family members or less friends, there's increased risk of having a health problem. So I linked that to conclude how feminism has played a key role in impacting the young Korean citizens. So that was about my research. So for my research and presentation, I think I did really well on them. Combined with the exam taken, I received a score of 5. So I'm really proud of my achievement, and I think I really did well on it. So I'm looking forward to pushing myself harder for AP Research and obtaining the same score. To pronounce my name, I'm pronounced Jaehyun. It's just hard to pronounce, but it's Jaehyun. That's how it's pronounced Jaehyun. Thank you.